Hello everyone, happy Wednesday. This is Simon with AvaTrade, and we're about to start our weekly webinar, the called Inside Circle Interactive Trading Conversations. I see some new faces here. Welcome everyone. We will start in a minute or two. We'll let others come in. Meanwhile, as usual, I would like you to ask you for a favor, if you can confirm that you could hear me by typing OK into the question window. Again, if you could hear me, please type OK. Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you. And also, if you see the presentation with the AvaTrade logo, type SEEC. So I know we're all good technically, ready to go. All right, guys, if you could see it, just type C, SEE, in the same questions window, so I know that you could see the presentation. Thank you. Okay, I appreciate your effort, guys. Okay, so we're going to start. I think we'll give it 2 minutes to others to come in. People like to come late for some reason. I guess we're not going to judge. Everybody has their stories. And we'll accept latecomers as well. No issues at all. So welcome, everyone. This is Simon with AvaTrade. We're starting our weekly webinar. And the title is Inside Circle Interactive Trading Conversation. A few things about myself. My name is Simon Friedman. I'm one of the account managers, senior account managers at AvaTrade. I started to trade June of 2000, so that makes it over 23 years. I started as a prop trader back in New York City. I did it for about 11 years, and then I stopped that exciting environment, and I moved into a less common way of trading, and I also started to educate and mentor others. And currently, I'm very happy to have this great opportunity to assist our customers at AvaTrade. The agenda of the webinar, very important. Please try to understand it. It's very simple. We ask questions about specific markets. So people come here and we discuss it as a group. We ask questions about a specific instrument, specific market, specific asset. Could be a currency pair, could be a company stock, could be index, commodity, and so on. Instruments that are tradable on AvaTrade. You can feel free to ask questions. We'll discuss it together, and then we'll take a look at the charts. Try to see what are the possibilities there. Also, I'm following a lot of markets. If I do know some fundamentals about that specific instrument, I'll be happy to share. I'm not going to search for that, but if I'm aware of anything, of course, it's public information. I'll be happy to share with everyone. Okay, we have a risk warning here. You can find a full statement at avatrade.com, and just follow us to understand that all we do here, it's purely educational. Channels, very important. We have a great useful information on Telegram, Twitter, and my favorite YouTube channel. If you missed the webinar, you can find it on YouTube channel. You can find tutorials, a lot of educational stuff there. Please like, subscribe, share, click on that bell so you'll be notified of new things coming in. Okay. All right. Now we're going to start. I'm opening the trading platform. This is the MT4. I also have MT5 as well. By the way, if you don't know, MT5 has more assets tradable. So if you're looking to trade, especially stocks, as a larger list of tradable stocks on MT5, if that's what you're looking for. Okay, so again, we have up to an hour, and last week we had a little passive audience, and we had to stop earlier. I hope it doesn't happen today. So guys, please feel free to ask questions. You can ask multiple questions if you like. Think of others. A lot of people are watching this or will be watching this webinar in recording on YouTube, and think of them. So your questions could get the answers that those people will be really appreciating. So do it for the sake of sharing. Don't be shy. ask questions. And like I said, we have up to an hour. And I hope we're going to have a lot of good questions and practical outcome of today's webinar. Okay. All right, guys. We ready for questions? I know you hear me. I know you see the screen. We're ready to go. I know you're eager to ask questions. So let's start. Oh, again, all you have to do is just to type the question in the question window, right? No raising hands or anything. No asking for permission. Just typing in. Okay, Justina, thank you very much. You're the champion today. I hope other people will be as active as you are. Okay, so Christina is typing USD-CAD prospects. That's number one. Number two, Euro USD with the inflation news coming up tomorrow. Okay, great. So again, a little bit of a big picture. And this was my idea to really to share with people the skills. I'm not saying that I'm a genius and my technical analysis is great. It's working for me for many years, and my approach is very simple. And you know, I like this saying. I don't know who was the original author of this saying, but they say, you know, if you can't explain it to a 7-year-old or 3-year-old, you don't really know it. So I try to explain in a simple way. And my goal on these webinars is to give people tools to become independent thinkers. It doesn't mean that you reject other information. I'm happy to accept information. I filter it through my experience, my brain, my feelings, whatever it is. And at the end, I make my own decisions. So when somebody asks me about specific instrument, what I like to do is just pretend I don't know what it is, even though, of course, I do. So it's good to step back and see kind of a big picture of what's happening in that instrument. I'm going to just remove all the indicators here. So USD-CAD, right? Monthly chart. So we just want to see what the market has been doing in this instrument, right? So for that, you go back as much as you can. 2002 all the way to 2007, we had a huge drop USD-CAD. Then we had a nice bounce to the previous high here. So you can say that somewhere here, we're having a resistance level, approximate levels, right? If you see here, 126.99, so let's say 127, right? We didn't even get here yet, right? We just got the idea that we sold, we came back, we sold again, we established a double bottom here, as you could see here, and that was back in 2011. And then we came back. Now take a look how, interestingly enough, the history repeats itself. We had resistance, guess what? At the very same level, 13 years later or whatever. This is 2005, 2015. 10 years later, somehow we stumble upon the same resistance. Funny, right? Then we moved higher. We made a nice advance move to somewhere here. And then we came back and we played a lot with this level here for quite a few years, from January 2015 all the way to June 2022. 7.5 years, up and downs, of course. We had almost double top here and we pushed straight back. We went to retest the previous low, came back, and now it looks like in the past few months, we are in a tight range here, right? Let's just approximately mark it here as a channel. And then we're gonna switch to a weekly chart. Now take a look, weekly chart, it looks more attractive, more tradable here, right? We had support 131, around 131. We came back to 138, 139, and back down. We didn't reach that again. And then the past 2 weeks, we're going higher, right? So we're clearly in the channel here. So let's go to daily chart, and the channel, of course, looks huge here, right? So take a look. We came double tap, almost triple tap, came, didn't reach it. So currently, the current level, you could connect to this level right here, from which we made a high, right? What was the low here? 133.78, and we are right at that spot right now, okay? So what could happen here? If we establish the support, we can continue higher. If we come back to below this 133.79 level, we can go and test the previous low here around 132. So this is all technical. Now, fundamentally, what's happening here, right? Very important to take into consideration what's happening fundamentally as well. So on one side, you have US dollar. On the other side, you have Canadian dollar. So US dollar has been driven all about Feds, right? If you take, so you could see it went down. If you say dollar index, it's a similar thing, right? So on the dollar side, you have clearly the moment the market took the idea that the Feds will start cutting soon, maybe as soon as March, things got a little bit tough for the dollar, right? Now, on the Canadian side, of course, they have their own fundamentals and the interest rate and everything else. And among other aspects, there's a price of crude oil that affects Canadian dollar a lot. As Canada is one of the exporters or producers, whatever you want to call it, the price of oil affects it a lot, right? So as you could see here, dollar had a little bit of recovery, so it pushed the pair up. Also, oil was selling recently, and we pushed higher. So we're sitting at these levels, and the conclusion is we can go either way from here, right? It looks like we made a higher low after facing this almost triple resistance here. This is the second week so far in the process of going higher. And if we do break through this level, current level where we are exactly 133.79, 133.80, we might go higher and retest the highs. If we're gonna have a hard time breaking this level, okay, we might see the instrument sliding lower and retesting this 131 level, all right? I hope that worked. Now, euro dollar. The question is about the inflation news coming tomorrow. So inflation news we have from US and definitely will be affecting the US dollar. And just trying to understand what it means for the market, the inflation. The Fed's in the decision or further decision, which is coming this month, next one, in changing interest rate. It looks like we, so far, according to CME futures, we have about 95% probability that there's no change this time around. But the goal of the Fed is really to bring the inflation to the normal level, and for them it's 2%. So lower inflation that less report or lower than kind of predicted. It's really good for the Fed. That means we're getting closer to pivoting that interest rate, and there's a possibility of them starting to cut interest rates. So tomorrow's U.S. Inflation numbers is affecting the U.S. dollar, of course. Besides other things, it will affect the gold, affect the equity markets, everything, whoever's involved or whatever is involved, right? But as of now, euro dollar, and I know it 110 is so far the level that we couldn't really break on euro dollar. Somewhere here, as you could see. Again, we're going to follow what we just said. We had a drop, consolidation, move up, a lower high against the previous one. We came to this level, as you could see, 110, a lot of actions here we made. After making a lower high, we made a higher low and another lower high and a lower low. This was back in September of last year. Sorry, that's not the last year already, the year before, 2022. And as you could see here, we're really trying, we're pushing through, we're having a hard time breaking through this. So we'll be watching it. If the inflation numbers are lower than predicted or really in favor of Feds starting possibly or cutting the rates, we might see actually the weakness of the US dollar, and maybe this is when euro dollar will have some tailwind to push higher and continue. If the inflation is higher than expected, dollar would probably fly, and this pair would probably reject this level again and possibly move lower. So great question, Justina. And I guess we'll find out tomorrow what euro will be doing. Okay, thank you. Great questions, USD CAD and euro dollar. Guys, please feel free to ask questions. We're ready for the next one. Go ahead. I'm just gonna have a sip of water, and please type your next question. We have plenty of time, but I feel like I have to beg for question again. You come here to learn. You come here to ask questions and exercise the freedom of speech. So feel free to type the question that interests you. Okay. Just to remind you, Justina was asking about USD CAD and Euro USD. You can ask about commodities, anything you'd like. Just type your question. And again, I forgot to mention, you know, I don't play games. I don't fake questions. I could just fake names and questions and just say so and so asked this question just to keep it going and keep you in the audience. But I don't like that. It's not me. I don't really like you know, manipulations of any source. And it's all clean here. You ask questions, I answer. Okay. James is asking, hi Simon, is it possible to alter or change the stop loss figure number during the trade? Thank you and Happy New Year. Thank you, James. Happy New Year to you too. It's a little bit off topic, but we're not having questions. Guys, please use this opportunity to type questions about markets. Yeah, of course, you can change it anytime as long as the market is open. Okay. If you're using the web trader, you can just go and edit your stops and take profit. You can remove them. You can change them. You can do whatever you like. Here also you can do. It's very simple. If you have positions open, like here I have on MT5 some positions. You can just drag your stop loss if you see it over here, or you can show. You know what? I'm just going to show it to you. Please don't judge me for my trades. This is the demo account, and I have positions here sitting for a very long time. But here I don't have any stop losses. But for instance, also I don't have any trade levels. So here, actually, MT4, MT5, very easy to use stops. For instance, let's see if I have S&P 500 and I have a trade here, right? Oh, you know what? For that sake, we can just open the trade. So whatever it is, euro dollar. Euro dollar. Let's open a trade of one lot. Here, I bought it, right? So right here, this is my trade. So there are a few ways of setting up. First of all, if I'm buying here, so I can just drag it and put the stop loss, and it's right here. You see, it appears here. And also I can do a take profit as well and drop it where I want. So I have both stop loss and take profit. So I can do it from the chart. I can move stop loss closer or further and just leave it, and it's changing, right? You see right here, stop 109.51. If I want to move it closer, it changed to 109.57. The same thing with take profit and so on. You can also do it from here. You can click on stop loss on the row of your position. You get this window here, and you can move it in points or manually. Let's say you want to put the stop 109. You put a profit 111, and you modify. And it's right here, 109, 111. Or you can just cancel it, and you can just exit out, and you don't have it. All right? James, I hope that helps. And if you have any further questions, you can always ask your account manager. But this is the practical and the fast way of doing things, right? Okay, Justina is typing. I'm seeing EURUSD chart on my screen. Yes, that's exactly what it is, Justina. Okay. Okay, guys. Any questions, market-related questions about specific instruments? We still have plenty of time. We're about 22 minutes into the webinar. I am very energized, and I'm ready for your questions. I hope you are ready to ask them. Please don't make me beg. I don't like to beg, and I don't want to cancel this webinar because I know it helps people. And it helps people also that are watching this in recording as well. So please go ahead, ask the questions, and let's discuss things. All right, Christian is asking, S&P 500 gold oil, what's your take on this tomorrow? Christian, good question. Let's go one by one. Go back to MT4. So S&P 500. As you know, in general, we have to know where we are. S&P 500, the monthly chart, we are at all-time highs. Now this is the index, right? Sorry, this is the futures. The index never made all-time high towards the end of December when the sell-off, right? So we start with a little bit fundamentals. Markets started in general, equity markets started the year with the 5 consecutive days of a sell-off, and I was preparing for my weekly webinar. A lot of analysts are saying that statistically, if they take Dow Jones statistics from 1950, statistically, if the market opens the year with the 5 consecutive selling days, it sets up pretty much a bearish thing for the year. It's not me saying, it's them. Big analysts are saying. There was an article on marketwatch.com. So as you could see here, we had the whole week going down and breaking the previous support here. Now we are pushing higher. Some stocks are making tremendous moves. NVIDIA, a few days in a row making all-time highs. S&P is moving higher. Now what's going to be tomorrow? Nobody knows. Again, if we have a crazy slowdown in inflation, that's really great for the Feds to really start considering cutting the rates, because market really pricing in already that the rates are being cut soon. So market would really go probably try to retest the highs. So that's your S&P 500. If you look here, the initial move, important, the way I look at it, I look where the initial move stopped, or we really stop advancing, and this was right here, the high of 48.21 and a quarter. All right, let's fix it. 48.21 and a quarter. Not 5.25. So before anything else, I want to see that level retested again. Why? Because from that level we really sold here This is the 20th. We sold, we raised the 5 consecutive sessions. Then we came right back. We sucked everybody on the long side, and then we went and made a lower low against the previous one. So it's a tricky one. If this is another lower low, sorry, lower high, and followed by lower low, we could be seeing the change of trend, right? We have other things. Again, fundamentally, there's a threat of another government shutdown. They're still having issues with the budget and everything else. There are other things. There's still fear of recession. There's fear of slowdown. China is not doing that great, and it scares everybody. And so it's a lot of downside pressure. I don't mean to sound pessimistic. This is the realistic facts that's happening. So again, if we are flying higher, I would like this level to be retested, 48.21 and a quarter. If we are going lower, the previous low that we just hit on the 5th would be probably retesting. So let's see, and we can't predict what the inflation report will be. So we'll just watch and see, right? Next one is gold. I spoke about gold also briefly when we spoke about tomorrow's reports. The same thing. Lower inflation is good for gold, bad for dollar, and good for the markets. High inflation numbers would probably postpone the Fed's rate cuts. It could be probably in favor of a dollar, not so good for gold in the market. So gold is actually here, but the gold is a tricky one because besides reacting to inflation, it also reacts to the equity markets. It still has a title of safe haven. So when the sell-off on the market is happening, let's take a look. You see here, it didn't really go up, but if it's only market related, it goes against the market and money goes in from risk on into the safe haven on gold, right? So we'll be watching it, the report tomorrow. So far here on the daily chart, we are above the level of 2008. And again, the same thing here. We made lower high against the all-time high here, and we're sitting right on 50 moving average. So it looks like we're waiting for that report to give us a direction on gold as well, right? And let's move to oil. So all these 3 questions Christians ask, S&Ps, gold, and oil. We're going to oil now. And oil has been super weak, and a lot of it to do is with Mrs. China or Mr. China. I don't know if it's feminine or masculine, but China is not doing great at all, and China is a huge importer of oil. Take a look. On the monthly chart, we are below the low of October 2022, on the way possibly retesting here. So crude oil fundamentally, again, all this move was a fear of a lack of supply. I'm gonna bring a clean chart. All this move on oil was a fear of supply. If you remember, the Russia and Saudis cutting production, extending the cutting of production, all those things, right? And then there was a fear of economic slowdown. China issues kicked in, and we slowly zigzagging. We came almost to where we started this move a year and a half ago, June of 2023. Now it looks like we're consolidating here, right? We moved from around $67, $68 all the way to 76. Made a higher low, a lower high, and it's really something's happening here. There's some kind of a consolidation. Is it accumulation before going higher? Is it accumulation before pushing through to the lower levels? We don't know. I mean, technically, if global economy overnight finds a lot of reasons to boost to the upside, we might see the move. But I think, again, my opinion, until China has some signs of life, sorry for my exaggeration, But if China doesn't show any recovery here, it's going to be hard for oil to bounce from here. Okay, and of course, all the things that lately we had with the environment and switching to electric cars and everything else, that's behind the scene. We don't really know, what the ruling groups are doing there, right? So far, through many years, the oil lobbies, they were managing to keep oil running, and they've been collecting billions of dollars. Now the countries are really pushing for clean energy and everything else. So maybe also that is kind of bringing the oil to a low demand. I really don't know. I'm just speculating here logically. Okay, we're doing good. 31 minutes into the webinar. Christian, thank you for your questions. And I think we are ready to accept more. I have another sip of water. It's been working. I take a sip of water, you type the questions. Let's keep it going. All right, I'm done with the water. I don't see the questions. Anyone? Guys, we're doing good. Halftime show. We're at 32 minutes. So far, we had very good questions. EuroCAD, sorry, dollar CAD, Euro USD, S&P, gold, oil. Anybody else? Just think what you're trading or what you're looking to trade, and just type the question about that instrument. If not, I'm just going to wait another half a minute, and unfortunately, we'll have to say goodbye. All right, guys. I hope it worked. Thank you for your questions. I hope to see you next week. Have a wonderful week. Follow the calendar. There you went. We have the inflation numbers tomorrow, and also important Friday. We're kicking in with the earnings for the fourth quarter 2023, and the banks are starting. So everybody's waiting to see how they are reporting. They had a nice run. Besides, some bad news came from, I think, Bank of America. They've been charged $1.6 billion for tax charges. I guess they didn't pay enough tax or anything, and the stock reacted to it, to the downside. Otherwise, they had a very nice run. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, as a group, they had a nice move. Great, Christian. Thank you. Great question. I totally forgot about this thing. That was very interesting yesterday. So Christian is asking, what about Bitcoin with the upcoming ETF from SEC? Would you trade it? Again, for disclosure purposes, I'm not saying that I'm trying to encourage you or discourage you from trading cryptos. I fundamentally don't trade it. I'm old school trader. I just don't get it. I'm not in the mood to, I guess I'm too old and too, traditional trader. I really, I follow it. I analyze it. I do market reports and that, but I personally don't trade any cryptos. I don't even know, behind how to trade it, and as far as what account, because in any event, yesterday what happened, there was Dow Jones, I have a lot of things that are popping up, the news and so on. So somehow, I don't know, I still didn't follow it today, but thank you for asking this great question, because what happened yesterday, it looks like somebody hacked SEC's Twitter or X account, and they announced that SEC approved some ETFs, and it was a huge move on Bitcoin. And 10 minutes later, within next 10 minutes, they said it's fake, it's not real thing, and it was not a real thing. So I just want to show it to you on a small time frame. Look at the spike. This was yesterday at 9 p.m. GMT time, right at the closing of the market. Take a look. Boom. Had a huge move up to almost 48,000. What was the high here? Yeah, 47,894. And when they denied that thing, things just tanked. So I really, I mean, if you can follow and see what's there, I mean, the reason I started, you said, would you trade? You asked me, would I trade it? I just don't trade any cryptos. Okay, I like to trade things that have history, that have fundamentals. Even that is hard, but to trade something that is driven purely on greed. And again, there's a lot of fundamentals there. Some people are really geniuses and understand all these things behind the Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency. I didn't have a chance to dive into it, and for me, it's just not my piece of cake. All right. So let's see. Again, I'm very interested to know how the account of SEC was hacked on Twitter. Okay, but you could see how in today's technology, how one tweet or anything else can just make or lose billions of dollars. Some people take a look at this swing. The initial move was not so great, but the reversal from almost 48,000 to below 45. So it's a 3,000 move within 15 minutes, just collapsed. All right. Tomorrow, what's going to happen to Nasdaq? Great question. It's probably similar to what's going to happen to S&Ps, as Nasdaq, S&P, and Dow Jones. They go in group, not 100% together, but in the same direction. So lower inflation or anything in favor of Fed's cutting rates, it could be good for the market, and the opposite could be bad. So I'm not going to go deep because it's pretty much the same thing that I spoke about when we covered S&P 500. Okay, Christian is asking last question for me. Guys, please keep going. We still have 20 minutes. I'm very happy that you prevented me from stopping the webinar because I really like what I do. I hope you feel it in my energy. Last question from Christian. He says, I usually like to trade USD ZAR. It seems like it range bounded at the moment. Needed to go down so I could buy. Can you only see it going up with political stuff? It's a great question. I'll share with you fundamentals. You know, in May, end of May, I went to visit my best friend in the Cape Town area. I've never been to South Africa or any part of Africa, so that was kind of my plan. And I was hoping that he would come and see me, but he couldn't. So I just spontaneously, I bought the tickets, I think 2 days before the departure or a week, and I went to see him for a week. It's winter there, end of May, heavy rains. Out of the whole week, it was 2 sunny days, beautiful. Went to see Cape Town, other things. The other days we'll just stick around, watch some movies and stuff. Why am I sharing this with you? For me, it was a great experience and really understanding, because I do have quite few South African customers. And for me, being there, shopping in supermarkets, I don't know, putting gas in the car, I had a feeling with really what the economy doing, and it's really bad. And another thing, it's a lack of electricity. You know, it goes by hours, certain days, certain hours, and so on. So it's not an easy life there economically. So as far as political stuff, I really don't know. I'm not a local there. I think that people that locally in South Africa, they feel it, and that's why I give you this example. Just me visiting there, I understood more about the local economy and the currency and everything else. Now, as far as fundamental, it's a lot of it. I mean, we know the ZAR is really, or the rand is really weak, right? And dollar's been pushing, I think, exactly around my stay there. Let's see, May of 2023, I think we broke through 1819, exactly right here. May, when I was in South Africa, that's where this move happened to the upside, and then we had the correction, but we're still very strong on the dollar. So And I know they are part of building the BRICS group and everything else. And I really hope, for the sake of people of South Africa, that the economy will recover and the rent will get stronger and so on. But if you look at it, I think a lot of it's dollar driven or US dollar driven. And I think if dollar gets stronger, we might see a move to the upside, and vice versa, right? We can see here. But again, politically, part of your question at the end was, what's going on politically? I really don't know. All right. Okay, Christian, that's a question. Guys, do we have any questions? We have 41 minutes behind us. We still have some time, and we could use some questions. Going once. I really don't want to close it. So, and again, like I shared with you, I'm not faking the questions. So I guess, thank you all. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for participating. Come back next week. Bring your friends. Prepare your questions. My ideal webinar, it would be the questions just flow like we started with Justina asking 2 questions, then another person 2 questions, and so on, or 3 questions, and that we were just catching up. What about countries dumping the dollar? I really don't know what countries dumping the dollar, Christian. I really don't know. I don't have that information. I know all about conspiracy that Russia's been threatening that they're going to kill the dollar. So far, they've been killing the ruble, so I really don't know. All right? Okay. Thank you all. Have a good evening, and all the best. See you next week. And important, if you are watching this on YouTube channel, please subscribe. Please click on the bell. Please share. Write your comments as well. Very important. Thank you all. All the best.